I guess Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekends. We are here to unbox, a little bit late, the latest Kill Team release, Terror on Devlan. And after that, we'll go right into building Spectre Squad. So I'm going to quickly post this on social media, and then we'll get right into it. Really excited for this. I signed up to play a league with Spectre Squad, so they're going to be built pretty fast, hopefully. Though, looking by the rules, I think I was a little underwhelmed. So hopefully it's not too bad. But let me share this on social media real quick, and we'll get right into it. Alright, things have been posted. So let us get into it. So, obviously sealed with stickers. So I'm going to crack these real quick. I failed to uncap my knife. It's nice. Now I noticed this box is actually thinner than Typhon, which was the last kind of season end off weird box this size. And I tossed out my Ash of the Faith packaging, but I think it's also smaller than Ash of the Faith, which I guess makes sense because it's a pretty small release, but it is what we got. So, opening the box, obviously, we got our Termagant MPOs, which is just the Termagant sprue. The new easy to build ones from Leviathan, which are kind of push fit in a way, but this one has all the weapon options, it looks like. Do I see the Shard Carbine? I don't play Nids. I've never built the new Gaunts, so I'm wondering if it even has the special weapons. Maybe it does not. I'll check the instruction manual. So, Termagants, as opposed to the Hormagaunts that came in Typhon. And we've got Spectre Squad sprues. So it looks like Spectre Squad is on 3 sprues, no funky kill team extra sprue. So if they go solo, this will be what they're on. Break up these sprues as I do that. Make it easier for me to store later. All right. And of course, the new epic tier 1 hero, the Red Terror. Actually, it's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Though, looking forward to still painting a big Nid. I haven't painted any big Nids before, so we'll go with that. And the rest is this cardboard divider, which I will not need. The bases, these are the slotted bases for the Nids, and it looks like they put also the bases for the Spectre Squad in here too. And this is the, looks like a 60 mil base, a little dusty, on the Red Terror. And I got a good old Cadian transfer sheet. I do not have enough of these. Probably going to use, actually, I'm probably use a Krieg transfer, or a Cadian transfer sheet. Maybe. I'll think of what I decide when I actually go to paint them. And last is the everything else, which is the book, the divider, or the book, the tactics cards, the manual, and the instructions. Nemesis Ops isn't in this box. If I have time, I'll unbox that one later too, but this is just Terror on Devlan. So, all right, look these up. I love it. This season, everything being packaged like this, I think is my favorite thing they've done. It's very nice. Keeps everything in one simple spot, and then obviously makes it easier for them to transport it. So, yep, we got our Red Terror behavior cards, Spectre Squad's cards, probably going to be errated very soon, so not looking forward to having to paste over those. The instruction manual for Terror on Devlan, and the actual dossier itself over here, and the tokens. And this is more cardboard I'm going to get rid of. So, oops, I popped out a smoke grenade token. So this is the Spectre Squad tokens, and I guess the Red Terror has burrowing tokens. We'll get to the book and see what exactly these tokens mean. And we'll get into the dossier. So, in your dossier, divided into the lore section. So, I guess for those who aren't aware, I'm not a big lore guy for NIDS nor Guard either, but Devlan actually takes place not in the current time period. I think it's 1,000 years, M39 or something. So it's not. This is like a flashback at what happens to all the people on Devlan is not in the present narrative, but it's nice that the model gets redone. So, and we got the Spectre Squad lore, the Red Terror lore specifically, the kill team rules, and the missions. So I'll quickly flip through this because. So I'm not going to go read the lore bullet by bullet, but this is just talking about Devlan. Yeah, I have right here. It's end of M41 when all this happens. So I think currently we're like M42. Though M dates have been getting pretty scarce. So to pinpoint exactly what's going on, kind of tough. But this takes place basically previously to the current 40k narrative. Just talking about the Spectre Squad, Devlan, actual like written novel type lore, information about Spectre Squads. Specifically, Callsign Jester was the named Spectre Squad team. The operatives. Actually, I want to see how these were painted because I'm looking. I'm probably going to paint them in my dark blue scheme to match my Khazarkin or my Krieg army. Though I do have Khazarkin in it. I always like seeing that if you ever get any of the dossiers, they sometimes include alternative paint schemes. The operatives, like for example, if you get the Murder Wing dossier, you can see that if they paint them in not just the Night Lords, they have the different paint schemes. There's like a Word Bearer one, or even for the Casterkin, they have the different Casterkin regiments. Tempest of Silence, the same thing, and even for the Vespids, they have the different Vespid strains, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it looks like they've put a little bit of the filtering on this one, so it's kind of hard to see. Like the field Medicae is like running; you can barely see the art on the field Medicae, or the Stub Gunner is like a bunch of smoke around them. It's cool to see this because like the packaging, if you ever played 40k like pre 8th edition, because this is as far as I'm aware of. So like 7th edition too had the kind of plain packaging. I have some 3rd edition Tau in boxes still, and they have like the drawn art instead of the photographs of the models. And even then they kind of shifted to doing like photographs of the models with like small photo touch-ups applied, and eventually they just switched just to full model photography. But it's kind of cool to see in these instruction manuals and the dossiers, you can see they have like the post-processing effects on the models to make them look a bit more in action with like smoke and debris or lasers, which is cool. It's a good mix. Obviously, like having the full stylized art would be pretty cool too, but that's just how GW does it now. So they have like a desert one. They have like a dark blue one. I might go for this kind of scheme. And this is the more narrative and the Red Terror lore itself. Oh, cool, like the black and white style from like Curse City with like just the reds to emphasize. And then the campaign missions, it looks like over here. Oh no, this is just the cycles of the Doom of Devlan. Talking about this, kill team rules. So quickly flip through this because more qualified people than I have talked about them. However, from my experience, And from looking at it and just discussing it with Mizu, I think the Spectre Squad is in a bit of a weird spot. They have a couple oddities on their team that are going to make them struggle. I think they're kind of a weird halfway house between Kazurkin and Ratlings without the strengths of what you'd want on either team. Halflings, you can get permanent all game silent, and you also have Ogrins and Bulgrins, so you can get big beefy kind of enforcer types while also kind of chipping away with your silent snipers. And then Kazurkin just have really awesome firepower guy per guy. So you can really trade up with them. Again, even last edition, they were the bane of elites, and now with the new changes to skillet arms and just being able to double shoot sometimes if you position properly, they have good firepower for a 10 operative team. So then Spectre Squad, I think, is in a weird spot because they're kind of not Ratlings and they're kind of not Kazurkin, and they don't have much on their own that makes them super phenomenal. And the one thing, too, is breaking light cover. So they don't have a way to seek light. They have a spotter. The spotter doesn't give them seek light. So an opponent can just post up behind light cover near objectives, and you're just going to sit there and not be able to really contest them. And if you go to walk up a guy to break the cover and try to shoot him off of it, then they're just going to get shot back or meleeed back because they're not very good in melee. So it's kind of a... But we'll flip through the teams. So they're also Infiltrate Recon. So current Ops 25. Recon's a nice strong deck, but Infiltrate Recon is a tough combination because the redundancy between Infiltrate and Recon, you're going to have a lot of similar objectives between both, and most of the time, you want to pick like Retrieval for Recon. If they were like Seek and Destroy Recon, I think that's the best combination. Somewhere between Security, Seek and Destroy, and Recon are probably the best 3 archetypes to be in so far for Ops 25 because they have very, very solid attack ops that are fairly easy to score. You have like Retrieval on the Recon side. You have Plant Banner on the Security side if you're like a team that can post up and then hold the banner for points all game. And then on the Seek and Destroy side, you have the new and improved Dominate, which is awesome. So you can just pick off guys and score points that way. So being Infiltrate Recon is kind of tough. I'm looking forward to see very good players play with this because, again, for my just examination, it's a tough combination to be in. Stealth suits have this problem too. They're Infiltrate Recon. So it's a bit of a struggle for them. But yeah, your team is 1 Sergeant, the Beacon. Another thing on the Beacon doesn't have Super Conceal. If you've ever played a team that has this, like Vespids with the Oversight Drone, I'm kind of blanking on other teams that kind of have the one random extra non-combatant type operative, but they usually have Super Conceal. For some reason, the Vox Relay Beacon doesn't. So if you place it somewhere and they get a good shot on it, it's just going to die. You can't change its order or anything. It just sits there and it's just going to get shot. And it's not like super key for your team, but it's very hard to place this in a way that you're going to get value out of it, but also have it not be pinged off the board at basically no cost. So your Veteran Sergeant, Vox Relay Beacon, you got Medicae, Grenadier, Guide, Gunner, either Plasma or Melta, Heavy Gunner, Loader, Sharpshooter, Stub Gunner, Trooper, Vox Operator. So the stipulations for extras looks like here. Oh, sorry, the asterisk is to show we can pick either Las Carbine or Las Rifle. I think you're just going to pick Las Carbine because you don't want to be able to restrict your movement by being able to not move with your interrupts. And then aside from Troopers, everyone's limited to 1, which makes sense. So your faction rules, you got Elite Fieldcraft, so you get Fieldcraft points, and you spend them to interrupt. Now, there's a lot of stipulations on what the interrupt is. I'm not going to try to explain it very well because, again, I'm small-brained and smooth. So, but basically, you can interrupt to shoot. You can also interrupt to shoot for point-blank guard action, like in the indoor kill zones. And then you can also reposition. However, if you do that, it takes away your reposition, so you can't like go 12 inches, which is kind of rough. And then you also have camo cloaks. Now, I wish the camo cloaks were also ignore saturate. Some other camo cloak operatives have this ability, but now it's like really hard. So they're 5-up save normally, so they're already struggling. But without the camo cloak to negate saturate, if you get saturate spotted, you're just gonna die. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like the things that have saturate, they're gonna just tear you to shreds. You die to 2 bolter shots. You die to random devastating sniper shot. Like it's getting your camo cloaks removed is really rough. So if anything, maybe if they rather them to give uh or the ignore saturate. Though it says here they're not the same as the camelioline cloaks, the advanced ones that like the Space Marine scouts get. So maybe they're just doing it for lore purposes, but that's what we have for faction rules. And they got some ploys. Again, these have been discussed very in depth by more qualified content creators like Can You Roll a Crit. So I'm not going to spend too long on this one. But basically, the struggle is you are not going to be able to break light cover. So you need to find a way to pressure the objectives. And I think this team does not have that. So it's going to be a real uphill battle for them. So quickly going through the operatives. Over here we got the veteran sergeant. So this has the mission so you can get free interrupts, it looks like. Yeah, so you can interrupt with the elite field craft rule even if they're expended. Medicae, your classic medic operative. Grenadier. So this one is free frags, smokes, and cracks, which is nice. The Meltamine's nice, and then the proximity mine's big hurt. This is like the big damage one. The Kazakhstan Meltamine in the league I played recently, I like hit 14 damage off of a Meltamine. It was sick. So like this is nice to have. Guide. So you get extra equipment, but you have to have an ammo cache, which is nice. It's the ammo cache you rarely take because you commit to a location when you do it. So when you place it, it's very telegraphed what you're gonna do. And then if you have a guy camping on your ammo cache all game, that guy's not gonna be contesting objectives or anything. So, but it being free, or you can even take an equipment terrain feature as well. So again, it's just free extra equipment. It covers kind of everything. And you get scout terrain. So this one changes your climbing and operate hatches, which is nice for mobility. Now we see the gunner, you have the melter of the plasma, the heavy gunner. So this is the missile guy. And he's true heavy normally, but if you have the loader next to him, then you can get the reduced, and the loader lets him shoot again, which is a very cool combo. The problem is if I'm looking at this correctly, yeah, so control range and then control range. So the loader and heavy gunner are tied via control range, which is rough because that means that you're gonna get blasted and you're gonna get torrented. So that you can really avoid blast and torrent for most teams just by spacing properly. But because the weapon assist and weapons team rules require control range, you're going to get blasted and you're going to get torrented if you get the wrong orders. So this is a rough combo. However, the load weapon is 3 inches, and which is nice because it lets you get an extra shot off of a weapon. And you can do, as the joking with Can You Roll Crit said, you can do the running Melta shot where you can shoot the Melta up, fire it off, and then the loader can get within the control range. Oh, sorry. This is 3 inches is enemy operators. Okay, sorry. So also this has to be low weapons, also in control range. So you load the weapon with the loader, and then have the melt to fire again out of phase. But again, so now this is a control range. So again, you're really exposing yourself to getting hit by AoE stuff, which this team doesn't have, like the void armor rules that the Navy Breachers have to get reduced damage on blast. So you're just gonna get blasted and torrented, and it's gonna suck. And you get sharpshooter, your standard sniper. Good to see him back. Stub gunner has the really weird suppressive fire rule. I don't know how I feel about this because he has to be engaged. So even if you are like not shooting, to get the actual suppressive fire rule, you have to be engaged. And subtracting 1 from the attack stat of any operative weapon is pretty good. But then that just forces them to take out the stub gunner, and you can't really do it safely because again, you're 5 up save, 8 wounds. So you can like chill and hope that your camo cloak, because you can take 2 free saves off of a camo cloak cover. And 8 wounds isn't too bad, but yeah, it's kind of a weird rule. And then also it's the weird suppressive fire option where you just kind of shoot a guy behind cover and you don't deal any damage, but you get a lot of stuns. So if you want to like actually hold down the thing, that's kind of the first suppressive type weapon we've had. I guess the RBD's web gun is kind of like that too, but then the Trooper has the free interrupts. He has cool headed, and then the Vox Operator, which has the classic signal. And again, the way this guy is modeled, he also kind of looks like a spotter. This is what I'm talking about. So you have a signal to spot, or you have a Vox Operator for an extra APL. The problem is, what are you going to do with that extra APL? Move, dash, shoot. You can't really like shoot, fight, charge because you have gun butts and fists. So you're not really going to be taking off the guys out. But that, rather, instead of it being a signal, it being a spot roll for Seek, because you're going to be in a real tough spot to break cover. And then, of course, you got the Vox Relay Beacon. Now, the problem with the Vox Relay Beacon is the no super conceal. So you can get the signal from behind anywhere. You can do the, it doesn't have to be visible, which is nice. But again, your opponent can just get a line of sight on it and then just blow it up because it's got 3 wounds. So not long for the world. And then some faction equipment. The sniper watch is pretty funny. You get like a free sniper shot. You get the global stun grenade. Get the anti-obscuring, which is pretty handy. And then super camouflage. So you can give yourself super conceal, which is nice. There's the commentary. I'm curious. I'm going to read this more in depth later. I'm just curious what the designer is going to say about like how to do the team, because again, on paper they have a lot of struggles to fight uphill. So I'm curious how they intended for it to work. All right, and now we're back into the mission pack. So this is also something I was curious about, and kind of the other selling point of the box is the campaign against the Red Terror. Now, I don't want to reveal too much because I don't want to kind of spoil it. We're probably going to place them on the channel. This goes to show just some tips here. Yeah, protect your operatives. The Red Terror can fight people from 6 inches. Talking about gaunts. And then you can't kill the Red Terror, you can only make it retreat. Okay, and you can see you can bait the Red Terror by sacrificing guys to it, basically. So I guess this is going to be themed on Volcus, because it looks like the example images here they have Volcus terrain. So, yep. So yeah, it's on kills on Volcus. Notably, not using the Typhon terrain, which makes sense because it's not packaged in the box. But Volcus isn't great. I love Volcus, so not going to complain too much about that. So here's the campaign structure. And then it looks like it doesn't matter what you do for the first 4 missions, win or lose, you still go through that. It changes either based on, yeah, losing mission 4 and then losing again to mission 9, or you can victory to get to the middle, or interesting. So I have to go back and flip the Typhon one. I think the Typhon one was arranged more vertically. There is more 9 missions though, as opposed to the 6. So depending on if they're nice missions, then you can have some fun there. So yeah, so kill team, yeah, divide up as normal. MPO is kind of standard stuff for the cooperative game mode. And there's numbered cards. Interesting. Let's see here. So I'll have to read through this more in detail when we play this, but you can see here. This one has an option to put in the The cool thing with the Typhon one is you can sub in, or even the Necron one, you could sub in alternative operatives. So I'm curious if you use the same chart, you can make it really hard for yourself. Just whenever you go to spawn an MPO, just roll. But so over here, yeah, threat principle, activation priorities, all standard stuff for the MPOs. So for the Gaunts, I'll have to compare this to the ones they put in the Typhon box. Actually, do I have my Typhon ones behind me? Oh, I do. Okay, awesome. Okay, that's actually handy. Okay, so let's compare the data cards from the Typhon box to the ones on Terra and Devlan. Same thing, same weapons, same wounds. Just the limit. They put the limit keyword on it, it looks like. So yeah, so it would not be too hard to sub in other MPOs if you have a Tyranid army. Unfortunately, I do not. I guess now I have three options because I'm missing. So with this one, I have Hormagaunts from Typhon. This one has Termagants. And then I have the Raveners. So I have three of the five, or four, also get Ripper Swarms. So I'm really only missing Barbgaunts and Von Ryan's Leapers, but now that 10th edition is ending, it's going to be a bit harder to get those, so at good prices. But anyway, that was just a curiosity. So yeah, they kept the data cards the same, just specified the limits, which I think were on a different section before, but don't quote me on that. And then the big boy, the Terror on Devlan MPO. So going through its rules, fearsome foe cannot be obscured unless it's behind tall things. 1 inch horizontally, 6 inch vertically. You can activate multiple times. Burrow. Moves. It will burrow instead. It just teleports. Okay, that makes kind of handy. I know the Nightbringer has movement rules too, because it's so damn big. So makes sense. Can be placed. Okay. Survival instincts cannot be incapacitated, cannot be injured, can't change the APL. When it would be incapacitated, it fully heals and lurks. If it's already lurks, it regenerates. Okay. So it takes a lot to really put this guy. 30 freaking wounds. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so I guess you can hit it from hunt mode to lurk mode, and then it goes down to regenerate mode. So yeah, they have it right here. So it's hunting. If you would take it out, it goes to lurk mode, and then if it goes underground, it goes back to hunt mode. So there's your chart. Thanks for including that, GW. And see its stats. So got Pincer Tail and Maw. Swallow Whole rule. I think it instantly kills things. After strikes with each critical success, roll 1d6. If it's remaining wounds, you just eat it. Okay, cool. And then it has the Emerge. That shows how to come up from the burrow. Cool beans. So, I don't want to spoil all the missions, but just looking to see here the first one. The numbers are important for this one. MPOs, D3 plus 1 Termagants. Trying to escape. Okay, so yeah, and again, it's on Volcus. Interested to try this out because for the Typhon one, the board gets pretty clogged with all the Tyranid terrain, but a full Volcus board should be enough to have an interesting setup, but also have a nice, interesting game. It's gonna quickly, not gonna do these. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna not spoil those. And then appendix, or you can have it be mode where a player controls the terror instead, which is fun. I like this. There was a game that Fantasy Flight published a few years ago called Star Wars Imperial Assault. It was kind of my introduction to the miniatures game genre, and I'm very sad what happened to it. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it ended on an okay note, but it was like this. So for the campaign mode, you could play it where the players, one team of players, is controlling Star Wars Imperial heroes, and the other player was controlling a whole bunch of enemies. And they later added an automated mode, kind of what every other game has done since, basically. But I did enjoy being able to fully control the enemies. It's always fun to play the Imperial because, I don't know, I like the Imperials. But yeah, it's just saying you can just have a player play as the MPOs instead, and you actually have ploys in this one. So yeah, this is interesting. This is a cool, neat mode. I think between merging this and Typhon, you can have some pretty interesting PvE gameplay. And this is just the ending. It's a little ASCII image. I like that. It's very cool. So that's the end of the Devlan dossier. So I'm going to quickly flip through the instruction manual for the building. Take a short break to brew a coffee and switch over to hobbying mode and get right into building Spectre squads. So we'll do that. So quickly flipping through our setup on Devlan. Oh, it's a 100 mil base. So Spectre squad, Terror, Gaunts. So I'm curious about build options if I'm going to get host. I have spare Kazarkin bodies if I really need to use them, but we'll see. So, Veteran Sergeant, Sharpshooter, Gunner and Grenadier sharing a body. That's Guide. Heavy Gunner. So I see there's a second Sharpshooter option. So that might be taking the body then. Okay. Heavy Gunner. Box Operator. Okay, you have the Grenadier option. So you're not losing out on any bodies, which is good. And then the Loader. So the medic is here, but I think you have a second Vox. Yeah, you have second Vox operator. And Stub Gunner. Yeah, you're not losing any options from one box, which is good. Spare Troopers, I'll probably sub in some Kazarkin or something in the meantime before I think about kit bashing some more of these guys. But that's good. So at least I know that with one box, I'm going to have all the options. For at least playing for now. Next is the Nids. So we got the Red Terror, which I guess is an epic hero, so it having options doesn't make sense. And then it is the Gaunts over here, which are just the ones from Leviathan, it looks like, because I don't see the special weapon options in this build set. So just the Leviathan ones. And then it's on the back over here, just the list of what you got. So cool. That's nice. Heartening to know. So I'm going to flick on my light to get a building mode. And I'll be right back in 5 minutes. And we'll get right into the hobby section of this stream. And I'll start building some Spectre Squad. So see you in a bit. I misplaced my sanding paper. Don't know why I couldn't find it, but back over here, and then get into the building section. So I have to pull the camera forward a little bit. Might see a leg jump scare. So flip these over, and let's get some nice ambient tunes going. Gotta gather some more stream safe background music to play with, but we got this for now. So cool. I have my 2K grit. This is my 2K grit. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. It's enough. Probably these 2 grits will be fine. I'll go digging around for more if I need to, but should be fine. So, building time. I'm going to skip the heads because I have some 3D-printed gas mask heads for my other specialists for my Krieg army, and these ones have the proper joints so I can fit them. I printed them for my Ratlings, but the Ratling kit comes with very specific neck joints, so I couldn't get them to work. So, my guys will be headless for now. I know Can You Roll a Crit used Skitarii Ranger heads for his, which look really sick. So I think, yeah, a little head swap will keep him in theme with my army, and then it'll add a little bit of extra pizzazz. So we'll start with the Veteran Sergeant, which is parts 2, 1 through 5. Easy. Get click on these guys. So this is the high numbered sprue of this one. This is 3. Okay, so clip out 3. Off the side, we're up here. Probably over here is better. Yeah. So 3, 5 is over here. And 4. So now that we're on the hobby portion, talk about my awesome weekend. I use awesome a little bit facetiously, but yeah, it's the Anime North weekends. I've been going to Anime North for almost 20 years now. So obviously in recent years I haven't been able to go as much as I like for the full weekend, but this year I was able to go on Saturday. It was very rainy, very humid, which kind of dampened the whole thing. But was there, did my usual, visited some of the booths, saw some people that I usually see, grabbed some board games from the Japan Make Games table, try to do at least one game a year. Shout out to Japan Make Games, love them, keep translating and publishing awesome board games from Japan. I appreciate being able to play them in English, so. And yeah, aside from that, there's a really big bummer. So one of the reasons, like, I was only able to go on the Saturday, obviously, so that's 2/3 of the convention and panels and stuff that I got to miss out on. And one of the big ones that we wanted to go to was the Studio Trigger for the autograph session. And the security was stopping us from lining up before the thing was meant to start. So we were there 15 minutes early, just milling about, making sure that we weren't going to miss it, because they didn't even label the spot where they're going to be, basically. And then we got the heads up from security, hey, they're here, begin lining up. So we all lined up. And then after, like, we were there for 15 minutes before, and there wasn't a line. You couldn't line up beforehand. So we started lining up after that, and then the line filled up, and then security cut us off and said, "Yep, sorry, they're full. No autograph." So out of the one day and the few hours that we were able to be there for this year's convention, and like kind of the one event we were looking forward to doing, we couldn't even do it. And had we known that there would be a capacity for it, then we would have camped out a lot earlier to get a spot beforehand. Even though technically security said you couldn't line up, but there's still people milling about, kind of pseudo lining up. So kind of a downer. Looking forward to getting something signed by Studio Trigger, but that is how it is. I joke that we'd have to make a trip to Japan and trespass on the property, get it done in person, but that's just an unfortunate thing that happened. So kind of two dampers. The weather was atrocious. The kind of the main event that we're looking forward to didn't pan out. Though awesome cosplayers as usual. Got a few cosplayers from series that I enjoyed. I saw an awesome Rice Shower cosplayer. Her outfit was great. I'm not a big Uma head, but Rice Shower is my favorite Uma Musume. It's kind of a tie between her and Mihano Bourbon, because Mihano Bourbon is Gundam Curios, so kind of hard to hate your literal Gundam horse girl. I actually think she's Exia. Her special's name has the model number of either Curios or Exia. But her costume story talks about how she saw Exia on screen. Or saw Curios on screen. And decided to dress herself like a robot, so I don't know. I'm a fake Uma fan. Real Uma heads in the comments, please correct. And yeah, I grabbed a Hackclads all-in Kickstarter from Japan Anime Games, which is awesome. Looking forward to it. I'm a huge sucker for deck builders, and this is like a deck building arena battler game, which seems pretty cool. Has a cute art style, some expansions, some various characters, co-op mode. I try to always grab at least one game when I'm there. I think though, I'm pretty complete. Like, I was hoping by now that the Heart of Crown 2nd Edition expansions would be in print, because I was really looking forward to getting Northern Lands and the other Imperial Dynasty done 2nd Edition. But you gotta be patient. Take what you can get. And I have most of the other catalog. I grabbed a catalog to see if there's anything else that I wanted to pick up, and I think I'm pretty good. I do have to do a board game purge at some point. I am piling it pretty high, so that'll be my next goal. And then again, I was only able to go for the Saturday afternoon, so there's lots of tournaments and looking to play in a Gundam tournament, but just the time didn't pan out. No panels, sadly, this year. And I saw the Gundam base, and I did grab the Axis Shock Jigen. It's my first Jigen. I love the grunt suits and the mass-produced suits. GMs, Jigens, Leos, Zaku's, they're all my favorite mobile suits. So seeing that they had one in a cool alternate color scheme was nice. My buddy's a big Wing fan, so we ended up getting, not that one, but he got the Talkies 3 Master Grade. If I had infinite money, I would have grabbed the special coating Talkies 3 they had, but not this year. But they're there every year, so I'll come and grab something next time. No rush on that stuff. It's a nice chance to get some P-Bandai stuff. And it was nice just to see. I did a quick check at the entries for the Gunpla contest, and it's interesting. I think there might be an opportunity to do some kind of farming. Like, I'm surprised that more of the people who don't do... I guess skill modeling is a different skill than pure painting. But if you look at the like, Slayer Sword winners and stuff, like, it's a lot of skill crossover. So I was thinking of doing an entry piece, maybe for next year's contest. Because I think I can leverage my painting skill to make up for my gaps in my skill modeling skill to make a pretty cool entry. And there was one, I didn't notice it the previous years that I went, but I did see it. I guess it must be a regular display piece they keep. But they had... I don't know what the actual original kit is, but it's like done in Farsight Enclave colors, and there's a Farsight shield and sword on it, and the logo. So it's like a 40k Gundam crossover model, which is cool. Might inspire me to do something similar. And they had like the massive, like 5 feet tall Wing and Death Scythe statues, which look really cool. So, yeah, that was how my Saturday was. Sunday was just avoiding getting trench foot and a cold from being soaked all weekend. Because, man, it was really wet. Actually, these ones have basically no mold lines. Which is kind of crazy. You get that sometimes. Sometimes the sprues are well configured and don't have any mold lines, so which is nice. Means the building is faster, cleanup is quicker, and the fit is nice here too. Perfect. So let's get gluing. Probably gonna do a handful of them. There's 10 of them plus the beacon. Probably streamed like 11 o'clock-ish today. So another hour or so. And I gotta really ram these guys together off screen because my first league game with them is soon, and I entered them. So they have to be at least built. Painted, probably not. But definitely I'll need to have it built for the league, so. Okay, over here, see the fit on the cape. In there. Oh, did I lose connection? Chat disconnected. Okay, there we go. Weird. So yeah, I think with my gas mask heads and hoods, these guys will blend pretty nicely into my Krieg army. The Ratlings are a bit of a lost cause. I was in a rush to get them done, so I didn't have a way to kind of mitigate their heads on the weird joints, sadly. But the Ogrins, thanks to Tiny Legend, I have some awesome Ogrin masks. So my Ogrins and Bulgrins in my Ratling skill team and also my 40k army, they have gas masks. So they all fit the trench warfare theme, which is good. The only thing left for me would be I have to make a Lord Solar. I already have a Lord Marshal Dryer, so it's the backpack over here. So do like a second Dryer and then put him on Leontis's base and make it look a bit more commandy. I don't know what to do, but I do want to have some themed characters that are in the same aesthetic as my army, so I should go to the Sergeant. I'll clip out the Tactile Rock to put him on, which is good. I'm stand out a little bit. So I think schedule for this week, because I haven't posted it yet, plan is either Kill Team Live on Wednesday, or Hobby Stream Spectre Squad. And then probably another Hobby Stream on Friday. More Spectre Squad. And I will see if I can rush build the Red Terror. And then maybe do a Hormigaunt Red Terror battle. Because the Termagants might take a bit too long, so. Just to get some Nemesis Ops going. And I also have Nemesis Ops too. Might do just some casual Ops battles. I have a pretty good selection for the options. I have to build a Redemptor Dread to do an AOD one, but Misu has a Defiler. I have a War Dog. So we could do some Chaos ones. For Tau, I have Battle Suits, so we can do Stealth Suits with a Battle Suit. There's options. Not too worried about missing out. Okay, over here. Fit the rock, which is good. And then your backpack, which I believe I clipped, trimmed. Yep. Put you over here. Stick this back there. Put you on your tactical rock. Actually, let's do your arms and stuff. I'll do your arms and then put you in the rock last. So, yeah, doing the Veteran Sergeant. So that is... Laz... Well, I can give him a bionic arm. That's pretty cool. So I'll do bionic arm. So 14, 15. Here's the bionic arm. 15 is here. So I think my next year goal is to get some Gundam entry done for either side 6 or I forget what the model group that does the table at Anime North do an entry. Definitely don't think I'm good enough to win, but it would be cool just to have something done. I was working on a Leo. I painted the Leo, and then I kind of lost motivation on it, so I might have to turn it into something else. Now, where's the 14 joint? But I got a massive Gunpla backlog, so I'm not hurting for things there. Yeah, A14. 15's here. It's just an elbow. 1435. Am I blind? How am I not seeing this? Ah, 14 here. Okay. Okay. Get these gubbins flipped out and shaved. So far the build's not too bad on this. Again, they've been pretty smart to how to hide the connection points to the gates. And this one's the lucky batch where the mold lines are basically non-existent, so cleanup there isn't too bad. I just do it out of habit, because sometimes you get kits with really bad mold lines. And if you skip out on doing it and then find out that you need to go back, it's really hard to course correct, so. Sorry, this is his other arm. Is there a perfect slot for this? It's funny to go from building like big chunky guys to small human-sized infantry. Oh wait, and there's my drill bits. I gotta drill these guns too. So you know what? I'm gonna leave the gun off. I'll clean it up. Because my setup right now is mostly for painting on camera, not hobbying. So my sandpaper and my drill bits and stuff are in my other studio. Womp womp. Totally forgot about drilling these things though. I feel like the mole ants are pretty subtle. Which is good. It does help too that the painting kind of gives you a little bit more gap filling. I know for Gunpla and scale modeling they do like enamels because for the really smooth finishes, but I think just painting something, normal acrylics or oils, is satisfactory for me. Solvent-based paints, I already kind of on oils, but enamels definitely aren't something I'm clamoring to get into. Okay, so how are you holding this gun? Holding it up to his... Yeah, you know what? Holding to the shoulder like this. Ay, ay, ay. You know what? Well, first of all, this is going to be done anyway off the drill later, so not need it for now. I'll do the arm and then glue the rock and then move on to the next guy. So I did see a post on the Kill Team subreddit that there's a lot of spare bits in this kit too for customizing other guys, so keep them in mind. I'm thinking my solution for, if I really like this team and I want to build out the full roster, I might just use my spare Kazarkin and then put some cheesecloth for cloaks or something, or even just get a box of, if I get a combo box with Cadian shock troops, I don't play Cadians, so I'll just convert them into more Spectre squads with the spare bits. That might be my out. But I'm suspecting I'm not going to be too big on getting the full roster for this team. And I'm not going to do any like meta chasing in 40k for 11th edition, so if this somehow busted it in full 40k, I'm not going to go clamor out to build a bunch more of them either. So for this one, oh wait, I need to get the partner on the chevron. Smooth that a little bit. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now let's see how this fits into... Okay, so he's classing it over his weapon too. So I'll save the order then to build it all at once at the end. Let's put him on his rock, smooth out the spots, and move on to operative number 2. Again, this one is a tactical rock privilege. So this one, the model is fully separated from the rock. So you can build it rock or no rock, which is great if you want to even do your own basing schemes. I've been the victim of the molded tactical rocks, where it's a real pain to get them off of them. The Warshaper is a big one for this. and the crew rampagers too, and the Vespids, and even the Murder Wing as well. It would be nice if they did the Space Marine and Imperial Privilege, where they can have the full separated tactical rock. Not have to worry about having to clip it off. But that's Veteran Sergeant done. Moving on to the Sharpshooter, because I don't need the other Sharpshooter body. That's going to be the Guide. Or the Heavy Gunner. Yeah. So I'm building a Sharpshooter here. Dealing on a big chunk of terrain. So I need body 21, just here. How many bodies? It is 10. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then the Vox Beacon. Thankfully, you don't miss anything, so you can build at least all your specialists with one box. Nothing shares a body, so you're good there. Obviously, if you want more troopers to do generics, then you gotta get more troopers somehow. But, or if you want to do like the WYSIWYG for the gun loadouts, if you want to have them be las carbines or las rifles. But yeah, you are not limited to having to have specialists left behind because they share bodies, so which is good. Yeah, the free interrupts seems okay. It's just rough because like, you're gonna interrupt and shoot with a las carbine, like, or a las rifle. Like, when Khazar can interrupt and shoot you, you get hit with like a plasma blast or a melta blast or a grenade blast, or if they do the skill at arms, it's gonna be severe. If they do the ploy gives it piercing 1. Like, the difference in firepower between them for output is kind of crazy. I need 34 for the kneeling leg. 35, 37, rock. 39. Where's 34? 34. Alright, there we go. So yeah, I was talking to Mizu about it, and I'm playing him in the next league, which just started. So I got 4 games to play them, but I suspect that they're in a rough spot. They have no Seek Light, so it's really hard, and they don't have the durability to really flush people off points and survive afterwards. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, there's 100% a world where Deathwatch goes Plant Banner, Aegis, and then you sit there and have to find a way to remove an Aegis. Oh, behind cover, behind a barricade or terrain, in conceal, and then you have to find a way to scrape a 2-up save. I think it's like 18 wound monster with reduced piercing on it from a point or a banner. And I just don't think the team has the sauce to get it done. I think they just lose to that. It's going to be a lot of uphill battles. It's like the stealth suit problem, except they have more bodies but less firepower. Which I don't know how that's even possible, but here we are. So, yeah, I got the pieces over here. Back, we'll clean these up and get these going. But again, I'm always, like, I'm not a good, like, a pro player. So I'm always open to being proven wrong or enlightened, because the concept of the team is cool. I just think they need a little bit more sauce. Like, I think until Kazrakan rotate out of the classified format, just play Kazrakan. They were like a very nice team. And plus all the buffs, they're even nicer. You got good shooting. You don't fold in melee between the, like, ice in your veins and combat blades. Forcadia. So you have that. And then you have just the blistering firepower. Like, to trigger it requires a little bit of positioning and planning to get the double shoot with the las guns, or the hotshot las guns. But when you pull it off, like, it hurts. Especially if you put the piercing ploy down, because you can just say light them up, so you get severe. So you're always gonna get a crit no matter what. And you also have Relics of Lost Cadia, though you probably save that for the bigger hitters in case you somehow whiff those. But like, you're hitting them with 4 attacks, hitting on 3 up, 3-4, piercing 1 severe. Or piercing crits 1 severe, but you have severe, so you'll trigger the piercing 1. And you just shoot him again. Same thing. Like, in the league that I played, I did that, and I just destroyed a Murder Wing operative. Full HP, just blap blap, just killed him. Because just guaranteed removing one of the saves is enough. And that means that they're more likely to let the crit slip through. So kind of at minimum, you're going to hit him for 8. The 2 crits off of the hotshot las guns. And then you're in a good spot to get the other ones through, because you're hitting on 3 up. And again, if you really, really need to go through, you have Ceaseless. You can get that on the elimination pattern. And then you have Relics of Lost Cadia as the equipment. Like, you can really put down the fire. Which is funny, because, like, I guess it's not really what they were going for. Like, for Kazrakan, it works great. It fits the aesthetic perfectly, but I don't know for Spectre Squad if that would be the way to do that. They need something. And also their ops options too. Like, Infiltrate Recon is a rough set to be on. It'd be cool if they had at least Seek. Like, Seek Recon or Infiltrate Seek. Just something. You also, I don't know if you were there, Phantom, for the the unboxing section at the beginning, but I kind of went through the operatives too. So the team is also very vulnerable to saturate because the camo cloaks don't have the ignore saturate rule. So if they get saturate on you, then you just fold because you're a 5-up save. And then the other thing too is they have a lot of close range synergy too. So they're kind of the best combo is the loader, which lets someone fire again, and also modifies the heavy weapon, the missile launcher, to be a bit more mobile, and you get rerolls too. But you have to be in control range for it to work, which means that you're vulnerable to getting hit by piercing or getting hit by blast. Torrent isn't so bad because you can have the loader be in conceal, if I remember correctly. So you won't get torrented too bad, but you will get blasted. So it makes it really hard to position the heavy missile launcher with the loader. However, you can get the loader to also fire your melta-gun again, which is pretty funny, and your plasma. So you can go like full Jurgen on them. You can be like, Jurgen, get the melta, and then you can just get 2 melta shots. If you have them positioned in a way where... Like, I guess yeah. Well, do I go through... So usually what I do is if I know... Like, I don't have it next to me, but if I have the murder wing. So if there's bodies that are shared options, so I know for sure that I have to make sure I don't get confused, I will circle them as I go. But because I know for this one set, I'm just going to be building the specialist every time, I won't circle it because I know what I'm going to build. But yeah, if you look through like my murder wing, my Shadowhunt box, I have all the weapons crossed out from there to make sure I didn't double build or I got every option covered. And my Death Watch too. My 2 more blocks is the same thing. I scratch them out as I go to make sure I don't double build or I cover every lane. But this one I know for sure because every single specialist is covered if I build the one, so probably won't need to do that this time. If for some reason like I really fall in love with the team and I go to get batch the second set, then I'll make sure I check them off as I go. But should just be groups. Yeah, like same thing for Death Watch. Like if you know if they're sharing bodies, so you know you have to make sure that you don't mess up, I'll do that where I'll go and I'll clip I'll scratch out as I go through them. But for this one, probably not. It's a real nightmare if you do like salvagers, because salvagers, they have not only specialist options, they also have alternate guns on their guys too. So you can really, really mess up if you don't track what you're building with Heartkin salvagers. But and then this is the backpack and the guns. I'll skip the backpack and the gun because I need to drill them out. My drill is not on my desk right now, so I'll just do the backpack and the tactical rock, and then go back to this. So I want 35 for the backpack, which is here, and then tactical rock, which is 36. So yeah. I'm excited to try out the Nemesis ops. I did see there was like kind of leaks on the internet, but even just having the book now, I think it'd be really cool to do a stealth suit team, because having that as an option where you can trade in 2 of your stealth suits to get 1 crisis battle suit, so you actually have firepower on your team, or even just having a whole team facing down a Defiler or like a Chaos Knight War Dog. It's a cool little mini expansion. And it's a good way to use your existing collection too, not to worry about picking up extra stuff. Like I didn't end up going out to buy the Amble or the Zote, but it is happy that they gave you options to use the other things. So if you already have a collection, you can do some Nemesis Ops battles. Though I guess if you're a Black Fortress or Blackstone Fortress owner, you'll already have the Amble and Zote. Or there was that Lair of the Beast Target exclusive board game, which had the Amble in it as well. And I think the Barnes & Noble, the Dawn of War one, also comes with an Amble, I think. So the Amble is pretty available now. The Zote, on the other hand, not so much. But just more ways to play. I am hoping. I know it's kind of it's rough because this is everything is full tilt on getting 11th edition out. So all the oxygen is just 11th edition. But I was hoping. I guess there's a summer reveal show. I forget what convention they do it at. But I'm hoping that they do the announcement for the next season soon, because I'm just really excited for more Kill Team. I'm a little sad with how this season ended up, where we just had way too many elite teams. And the balance was a little kind of scuffed. I'm going to do a retrospective video, I think, maybe in July, once I get on top of my other things. Because I'll have my actual motion track model by then. We can do a proper video. Just to cap off is my thoughts about the Tomb World season. What happened, what we got, what came out. Because I think we started strong at the conceptual level. Like, Tomb World as the terrain set, awesome. They saw the problems with Into the Dark. They fixed them mostly. So that's a huge win in my book, is just fixing all the problems Into the Dark. And then after that, it was just downhill slide. Canoptek and Deathwatch were too strong. And then we went from that into the menace of Wolf Scouts and Murder Wing. Well, Wolf Scouts and then 3 months of that, and then Murder Wing afterwards. So I don't know if there was any other. Oh my God, I can't speak today. Yeah, so it's model agnostic. What it does is that I'll probably do a flip through of it because I have it sitting next to me, but I just didn't have time to unbox it today. But it is model agnostic, so you pick a template. So you pick like a small, a medium, or a large Nemesis op, and use that to create your Nemesis op, and then you determines your base size and your wound stat and things like that. How many slots on your team it takes up. So yeah, it is model agnostic, but they did kind of design some pre-done ones. So like the ones that they advertised, like there was that week that they put on pre-order, you can see in the Games Workshop web store, where they put a Nemesis Ops category. So you can like fight against a Sentinel, fight against a Defiler, fight against a War Dog, and they pre-created the rules for it. But it is model agnostic. You just you pick its behavior, you pick its size, you pick its weapon loadouts, some special abilities, what the alliance keyword is. So if you want to bring it as an operative on a team, for example, you pick what faction it belongs to. And then play with it. So this is going by just what I saw, because again, I haven't fully flipped through the book just yet. I was curious because there was a leak about what the battlesuit, the Crisis battlesuit, plays like. If you ever played Kill Team 2018, as they added the expansions as the game went on, like there was the Elites expansion and then the Commanders expansion towards the end. It's kind of like that. So how is he kneeling on this rock? Like this? They have a little divot for that, so make sure I don't mess that up. Make sure to carve this out right. Over here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I never played 2018. I did see that as the expansions went on, though, people were kind of like joking about, because it was all the Force Orc roles. So it was like Kill Team, Elites, Kill Team, Commanders, Kill Team, Fast Attack, like Kill Team, Heavy Support. But I think this definitely feels like the continuation of that philosophy. So this one's good because I gotta drill the gun and arm and the head. So sniper is done, basically. Move on to next up is the plasma gunner. Oh, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon. So plasma and melta. Do I have another gunner option here? Sub gunner. I do not. Okay, sorry. I take that back. So you are stuck on gunner options. So you have to either, if you magnetize or not, pick between with one box, plasma or melta, which is fine because these are on 28 mils, and I have Kazrakin, so I can easily just substitute plasma or melta for my Kazrakin. Or if you have Tempestus, same thing, they're on 28 mils. So not too big. I think I'm just going to build it as the melta, because I think I actually don't have a Kazrakin melta. So this kind of will pull double duty. So it'll be my Kazrakin melta and my melta. And you probably also want the melta on this team anyway, because you have no way of dealing. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go back and build. They share no arms or limbs. So if I find a spare Cadian Shock Troop body somewhere, I'll just kibash it for that one. Actually, now that I think about it, I have for the Darktide board game a spare Kazrakin body. I might pull that off the shelf and turn that into my Melta and just put a cheesecloth cloak or something on him. Because that one Kazrakin, I have no idea what I'm going to do with him. It's just a random Kazrakin. Not even the Sergeant pose. It's the one that's throwing the grenade. So, bit of a random include for the Darktide board game. But just randomly having things. Like, they give you an Ogrin, which I use spare parts to turn it into Nork the Dog. And then you get the Primaris Psyker, which is the character on its own. So, it's kind of a random pick for the model, but 39's over here. It helps when you have a closet full of a pile of shame to pull random models from, I guess. And it's nice that the arms are all separate, so the only issue will be making it look sufficiently stealthy, I think, but and finding a spare 28mm base, actually. Actually, the Darktide board game should come with one, because it's on a slot base. Now I gotta go pull it off the shelf and check after the stream. Yes, 38, 39. I need 37 for the front. Here. Or even, I'm thinking, because if I ever get regular Cadian shock troops, I'm just going to bash them into other things. So, I don't think I have any spare Cadian shock troops lying around, though. So you get so many spare bits from this kit, you can easily just make more Spectre squads. As long as you make them look stealthy enough. And put them on 28 mils, I guess. So limbs, body, backpack's 41, which is over... Where's 41? 58, 152. Did I already clip it out? No. This is the front. 41. Staring me dead in the face. Plenty of time. I gotta go raid my bases bin to find some more 28s if I need to, because base size is important for kill team. I have 25s and 32s to shake a stick at, but not many 28s. Over here, clean this up a little bit. Down here. Cool. Leg 1. These guys should actually paint pretty fast because my guard paint scheme is pretty quick. I think the extra time sink will be if I want to decide to do camo or not on them. I think I might do some camo on the cloaks just to make them look more stealthy. I was thinking back, I free-handed a bunch of camo patterns on my Casterkin, and that was only, like, that was way too much. I haven't freehanded anything in a while, so it might be good just to warm up my freehanding again. And camo is a good pattern to know to draw too, because it comes up in a lot of other things. Even if I do like historical gaming or more guard infantry, just being able to make nice looking camo. If they ever redo the Tau Fire Warriors too, might do some camo Fire Warriors. Right now, as it stands, though, they're just a little bit too small. Like, you can tell they're from the 90s. I just wish... Like, the Kroot refresh was insane. It's phenomenal. But I maybe would have given up the Farstalkers. Like, it's brutal, because you put them next to the rest of the army, and the age is so visible. Like, if it was like, give up the Farstalkers, and then have that Kill Team Into the Dark box be instead Navy Breachers versus Tau Breachers, like a Breacher battle. And then have a redone Fire Warriors kit with the Breachers. I think that'd be sick. I think that's... And then have the rest of like the 10th edition Recruit Refresh be the same as it is. Because it does feel really bad having like the main battle line troop of your army just look so old compared to everything else. Like they fixed it with like the other problem was Eldar. Like Eldar Guardians looked really bad, but then they refreshed those quick, and then after that, the 10th edition rest of the releases was just everything else except for Dire Avengers, basically. So there was no awkward period where you have your battle line troops look kind of old, weird, and then everything else looks so gorgeous. I guess if you play Katachan, if you play Guard Katachan as your main army, that's also the problem, because you have so many nice looking Guard sculpts. And then you just have the oldest, like 30 plus year olds Katachan troopers and heavy weapons teams and stuff. And it's just like, ugh. So they're definitely going to be refreshed. There's no... The question is when, not if. So if the 11th edition release line for Guard is them refreshing Katachan, I would not complain. And then even if like the Kill Team starter set, this edition is battling in a jungle, and you just actually have jungle fighters, just double down. Like a special Katachan command squad or something, because you don't want the troops. The troops shouldn't be in the Kill Team box, because that just makes it really hard for them to buy, because they package it at a marked up rate. So if it was like the Death Corps one, where the normal troop sprues were separate, and then you have the upgrade sprue, then maybe it wouldn't be too bad. Then you can get the normal ones later at normal retail cost. But I just think that should be the case. That release wave, though, the Guards got for the Armageddon, the Commissar Graves, and the Hippogriff, I think, and the Manticore. Whatever they got for the Armageddon release wave was surprising. I wasn't expecting that, considering how big their release was for 10th edition with the Krieg refresh. So I think kind of that's it. Maybe you're super greedy. Nah, not even that, because you have the option of getting the Horus Heresy Leman Russes. They don't have spawn since though. But maybe the super greedy hope is like a Leman Russ refresh, because it is pretty core. Like everyone uses Rogaldoran commanders now and stuff, but just for like if you want to do a tank themed army, you're going to need Leman Russes. And the kit isn't bad, it's just a bit on the old side, and the way that's built isn't super conducive. I'm sure with the current technology and like mold making that GW has done now, they can make some really, really, really nice Leman Russes. Because the Solar Auxiliary one they did for Horus Heresy isn't that much different. So, I don't know, maybe Leman Russ for peak greed and then be done. Because, yeah, Spectre Squad is kind of a out of the nowhere. I've only been playing since 9th. I'm not a Guard army as my main army. So I didn't know if, like, this was a redo of a kit that existed before, that was discontinued and came back. Like, I have some old metal Imperial Stormtroopers that I got in a lot. Those guys are hefty. But those guys kind of became Kazrakin. Or they're very similar, at least, in terms of aesthetic, so. Okay, that's the body done. So make this my Melta. So Melta is 53 and... Actually, not even that, because I'm going to have to drill it out, so I'll skip the arms this one, too. Just get out of the way. Fill all the bodies, and then handle the drilling and stuff off camera. That's Gunner done. Move on to the guide. Also, for the guide, do I want looking at map or looking through binoculars? I like binoculars. We'll do that one. That is parts 58 through 62. Still on the sprue. It's nice. Might replace these nippers soon. I've definitely abused them a bit too much. Still great, but I don't know. Nothing beats a fresh set of God Hands. Ooh. I think the next best feeling is a fresh paintbrush. If you've never used God Hands before, I definitely heavily recommend them. Don't do what I'm doing with them. That wears them down. But, like, they are so sharp. A fresh pair is so sharp. Just even like this, like pressing lightly down with your finger, you will just cut. Just clean cut every time. It's great. They're probably the best nippers on the market. But they're meant for fine joints. Like, cutting through anything that's, like, thicker than a sprue like this probably is not recommended. You'll wear them out. And I snapped my first set making a Land Raider for a friend. Because I was cutting through treads, so... Just, leave them for the fine snip, but they're still phenomenal tools. 59... Where's Buddy's cloak? So I have 59, 60, 58, 61 is the cloak. Which I don't see on the sprue, so... I need to see, because the Redgrass Games ones, they might be good, but I don't think you have to try. Hold in your hands a set of God Hands, because they are phenomenal. I don't think the Redgrass ones compete. I've had the AK ones and they're okay. They're definitely not God Hand level. The closest I've seen in comparability was another set that they kind of felt like they were like factory bootlegs, made from the same factory and then just repackaged under a different name. But even then, they still don't compete. And the big thing too is the cutting edge, because you don't want to leave like the pinching of the plastic. Most of the brands of nippers that I've used, they do that. You know, the God Hands are so sharp. So I got legs, front, cloak. I need 62, which is the backpack, which is here. I know they have to be good because, like, for our hobby, if it leaves a plastic stress mark, it's not that big of a deal because we sand down and paint over the models. But for Gunpla, it's very important because most people don't paint Gunpla; they do like panel lining. So if you scuff the plastic or stress mark the plastic, you're cooked. So that's why it's really important to have clean cuts, and that's why the God Hands are so good, because they leave basically no trace as they go through. But yeah, if you want to pay like a 1/2 to a third, you can get the AKs or the red grass ones. The arm painter ones aren't that bad too. But no, I will forever shill the God Hand nippers. Even sometimes they go on sale, like they did a year of the dragon one. Had a different color design on the grip and the case for it. And I guess my local shop just ordered too many, so they put them on clearance. So I was able to get, not yet, but I see that I'm able to get a replacement pair of the limited edition ones for like 50-ish bucks, which is 50-ish Canadian, which is pretty good. And they last me for years. Like, if you don't abuse them like I do, you get a lot of time out of them. And even these ones aren't too bad. Like, I've run them through, and they still cut phenomenally. Better than anything I've ever used. Which is good. So I was going to explore tools that you don't think that you need, or from slightly outside your purview, because you never know if you find gold. I remember years ago, Ninjon did a video where he was testing out some Gunpla hobby accessories, and some of them were kind of eh. There's a really weird finger palette one. That one's the one that sticks out to me in my mind. It was like a painting palette that was like a ring that folded off of the ring into your hand. So you would dip it into the palette and then paint. But like, I don't know, watching Ninjon use it, it's just, and if Ninjon can't make it work, then I don't think anyone can make it work. So I'm just curious if that even is still a thing. But that's the one I remember from that batch of products he tested that was an eyebrow scratcher. Because just seems so out there. Oh, like sanding sponges? Like God Hand sanding sponges? Amazing. Not really important to go through all the grits like you do if you're doing Gunpla. Like, I usually stick around the 1000s to 2000 grit mark. But like, if you really, really want that smooth finish, maybe if you're doing like a tank on a flat armor panel, you can go through the 600 grit to 2000 grit routine to make sure it's perfectly smooth. But those sponges are nice, flexible, cut them up. Yeah, I've seen the GSW stuff. They have like the terrain rollers. They're cool for putty. They have some weird paints. Resin. I did see they had like a fillable base. for doing resin pours, which is really cool. I wanted to get those. I couldn't find them. They're out of stock at the time. I was checked, but you just like slop a base underneath, and then you can do a resin pour and have it capture the outside. This bottom bit over here. Clip it again. It's interesting that they're like, I don't want to be rude, but I'm surprised that they're still kind of around, because their stuff, it seems very niche. I know they're doing they have a paint line too, which I guess is okay. But just seems like such a ragtag collection of stuff. But I'm happy they're still around, because weird stuff is cool. It's neat to have a nice niche product that helps you out, so. Okay, pop this in. So it's getting close to 11, so what I'll do is I'll finish up this body and then call it a slightly earlier stream. Then I'll get right back into it off camera. So I'm hoping for the Klinsky. Yep, there. I mean, I get my Klinsky brushes just through like regular art dealerships. I don't think the markup you're paying for miniature game branded Klinsky sable brushes is worth it. I might, as an experiment, because I have the Artist Opus Klinsky sable brushes I received as a gift. So I want to compare them to my existing Da Vinci sable brushes to see how they play. But I have a very strong feeling that it's just the same quality for markup. Like, if you watch Squidmar, so Squidmar just revealed or released their own line of miniature painting brushes with Klinsky Sable's hair, and they literally use Da Vinci as their manufacturer. So it's like, well, if it's all coming from the same source, what's the point of paying extra for a branded version of what you need to use? So I think that's but that's my uninformed opinion, because I haven't tested out my Artist Opus brushes yet, and I definitely haven't tried any of the Army Painter Klinsky ones. I do have a really old GW Artificer brush, which is they advertise it as a sable hair brush. So I might use that as my baseline. I might bust it out of my box and then see. Because like that's kind of the baseline, I think. If the compare everything to the GW one, and then work from there. But I am of the opinion that if you're getting a paintbrush, which is a paintbrush, just get it right from the manufacturer. Get it like from Da Vinci, or get it from Raphael or something. Don't pay the markup for one rebranded through a miniature line. Though I might be just talking my butt. Like, I might try my Artist Opus brushes and then feel like a total silly person. They might be insane. Like, I use Artist Opus dry brushes because they're very nice. I don't think there's an equivalent for them in the normal painting market. So I don't mind paying that premium because it's definitely worth it. But yeah, I think for a regular paintbrush, Da Vinci, I've used Da Vinci, I've used Raphael's. They've been good. Depends on what kind of tip size and billy size you like. Right now I'm on the Maestro 35s because they're, I think, a good mix for me between length and belly. Though I have used Raphael Series 10s and they're very nice too. It's just they have a bit of a thicker belly, so it's hard to fit the brush in tight spaces. Okay, then glue this backpack and then call it a night. That's 4 bodies done. I guess this is a pretty fast build. Probably more time drilling out all the gun barrels and stuff. But okay, here we go. That's the sniper. Make sure everything is sealed up. Looks like it's. Cap my knife so I don't stab myself. They're about the same. If you're gonna get one, at least get the Squidmar ones, because the Squidmar ones, they do like a hand test before they send it out, so you'll know that's been in their hands and they've used it before they send it to you. But yeah, the Da Vinci ones are nice. I think I've gone through a couple over the past 5 years because it's tough. I paint with metallics. Like it's brutal because you want to paint with metallics and you want the control of a natural hair brush. Nothing beats the sable brushes, but it kills the lifespan. Like a brush that I can get 3 or 4 years out of, I only get like 1 year out of using metallic paints on it, and it sucks. And I treat them like babies. Like I probably spend hours a week cleaning them, making sure they're nice and maintained. But you just can't help with the metallic flakes. Just get them. But with that, I'm all cleaned up though, and I'll cap my god hands. Call it a stream. And yeah, stay tuned for the schedule. Will be posted. I'm hoping for a Kill Team Live on Wednesday. Won't be Spectre Squad because they definitely won't be built by then. Maybe my first league game is the 3rd. Oh, wait a minute. Did I make a boo-boo? Ruh-roh, Reggie. What did I tell my opponent? Oh no. Might be in a bit of a rough spot. Oh, shoot. It is this Wednesday. Okay. Never mind. I have my league game for Kill Team this Wednesday. So no Kill Team Live. Oops. It's not really gonna get these guys built then. I'm on the pressure to get these guys done. And then I guess might be doing a hobby stream on Friday to paint them because they'll have to be built by Wednesday. So yeah. Stay tuned to the schedule. It'll be posted. Things will be there. And have a good evening.